So what I'm going to do in my project window is over here I can just type in hanger, and I see that there's like many of these different hangers, and I also kind of have, just by snooping through things, I discovered that hanger 2.7 also has an interior and doors modeled. So I think this is the one I actually want to use, because my vision here is to like let me just delete it for now. My vision is to like have the player in here and like create a hangar or a room where somebody has locked themselves in and won't let anyone else inside. So this one I think has to go, or this one has to go, basically. Let's just throw this one back in. I've identified like this little section of the map as like a pretty easy to use spot. So I have to decide if I either want to get rid of this guy or this guy or this guy to try and make this fit. So I think what I'm going to do is just get rid of this one. Maybe I'll just like move it way over here for now to remember how it used to be. And so a trick, you can see this isn't like quite on the ground. If you hold the V key, it's V for vertex, you can mouse over the vertexes, which are just like the little end points of the model, and then click and drag to like snap it to other vertexes that exist in the scene. And so that could be like a quick way to try and get it at like the correct height, but I can see that actually didn't work for me in this case. It would work a lot better if I'm like snapping these like fence chunks together, just to show you I'm not crazy. Like you can quickly snap those together like that. But in this case, it didn't help me get it right on the floor. So I'm just gonna kind of move this up a little bit until it looks, I guess, just basically right. Maybe I look at the front view. And it's kind of hard to tell actually, because like it's hard to tell where part of this scene, because like the thickness of things, but I'm gonna get out of the ISO mode. And that, I don't know, that looks pretty good. So where do I want this thing? Kind of right back where that was. So I'm just gonna move it over. And you know, there's all these like boxes and stuff in here. I guess I can delete them. So I'll just get rid of them. You can see those baked shadows on the floor like I mentioned. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I think Shay is in here somewhere. This actually is kind of nice because the part of the map that was like there by default is here, and my new stuff is not in that map v1 folder, so that kind of helps me find the things I've been working with to an extent. There's this little donation deal. I'm just gonna delete that for now, but you should donate if you're using this. Let's see. Just gonna move Shay out of there. And you know, we might, as the level designer, like be aware of some issues because we can see like everywhere. But really, if the player can't tell from their perspective as like in the game view, we can probably live with a lot of problems, basically. But I should fix this stuff. I can just delete this pipe. Maybe later in like a prop phase, I can go in and add this kind of detail, but I don't want to be focused on that yet. Although they made it so easy for me, I could have easily just like dragged this stuff down and set it up. But whatever, I'll get rid of it for right now. Because my point is we should just really be focusing on like the core layout first, not the props. I guess I'll get rid of this and this and that. You can see how they set things up this way. I think what I'm going to do is just block the player maybe I'll block the player here so you can't go past like this. So I need to find some kind of prop that's big enough to block that off, or I could just, I could pretty easily just use this fence or this gate thing. Maybe that's what I should do. Or I could take something like this. It's kind of interesting. And put them like right there. So that's what I'll try to do first, I guess. So I'm just going to hold. I've selected them all with shift. So you click on one, hold shift, click the other, hold shift. Keep clicking till I've got them all. And I'm going to hold control and press D to duplicate. And I'm just going to move these things over and see how well they create a little wall to block my player. And it seems to work pretty good. Those steps are like a little misleading because they imply you should be able to walk down there. I don't know what it's going to look like if I get rid of it. It's just a shadow and there is a little gap there. But maybe my player would never see it. Maybe another option would just be like take this box and like I could scale it even. And just kind of block these steps with the box. Let's see how that works. And again, player probably won't even ever see that stuff. So I'm going to click these and kind of move them into position better. And I'm just trying to create what feels like an obstacle that my player can't get past. We wouldn't want it to look like the player could like just step through there, because that would be unintuitive. We don't want to have like an artificial invisible wall thing or like this narrative dissonance where it looks like I should just be able to walk right through there, but I can't. So maybe what I do also is I put some fencing there. So I could like grab this fence, just clicking until it clicks the thing I want. When there's like overlapping stuff, sometimes you don't get what you want. So the concrete fence, one way I can tell if I've got the right thing is just see what it looks like if I uncheck it and I say, yep, that's what I was hoping to grab. So I'm going to duplicate that, Control D, and I'm going to rotate it by like, so if you're not sure which axis to do, like you can get your rotate tool and hold control and just do it like that. Holding control is what does the snapping, but that's the y-axis. So really I just rotated it by 90 degrees on the y-axis. And I'm just going to move it over to like here. Guess I can get rid of this here box now. And I guess if I'm going to put this piece here, I could get rid of these steps, I think. I'm going to unclick it or uncheck it just in case I want it back. I don't think I'm going to. I'll just move it here so I can delete it if I don't need it. Because I think if I disabled it, I'll just never find it again. There's so much stuff here. So this almost fits, but not quite. So maybe I need two of them. So I can line this one up. I wonder how it looks like if it's intersecting. I mean, basically the rule here is like if it looks okay, it's fine. The one issue you might notice is if you have geometry that is like occupying the exact same space, like two flat surfaces that are perfectly lined up on one another, the game engine doesn't know which one to draw, and then you see like a flickering where it alternates between the two, and that can look pretty bad. Like here you kind of see it like right around there. You see how it's fighting? It's called Z fighting. So it doesn't understand which one to draw. So that's like the main risk. But I think I can just like hide that extra piece in there. I'll show you my trick with holding V. Snap it right on there. And maybe the player won't notice that piece really so much going into the wall. I think it looks okay. Not so sure how that looks, but could be worse. Like maybe it would look better if it was like there. But that causes other problems for me, so I think I'm just gonna ignore it. So now there's like something here, and it doesn't look like the player could like just squeeze by. I'm gonna kind of center these in the, I guess if I look at it like from this perspective, maybe I can get a better view. I just want to center it a little bit on this wall. Guess I can't really. I was hoping to see that more clearly, but I think it just needs to be moved over a little. Something like that. All right, cool. So now I've got my playable space kind of defined. I like this dumpster. I'm like kind of looking at like what's here and thinking about how I could use it. I think I could have a guy like who's taken ownership of the dumpster, like he wants to use what's in the dumpster. I'm gonna have a character who's inside and won't let anyone else in. We'll have somebody like standing by the gate to like oops, I was trying to get that off my screen. Standing by the gate to like let me in or not let me in.